Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and to another edition of the Daily Tottenham News Headlines, where I'll be going through all the latest news, rumours and reports. My name is Leader Dorset Spur, and if you are watching on YouTube, please like, comment and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. So, here are today's main stories. Rado Jagushin on joining Fiorentina from Spurs. I chose Fiorentina because it has a growth project. The negotiation started with a call from Fabio Paratici, whom I know very well. The fact that he was here had a big influence. When I received Fiorentina's call, we didn't think about it much. The negotiation didn't last long. I'm 100% recovered from injury. I feel able to give a lot. I had a horrible year that helped me grow in other ways. I want to thank Tottenham. I saw a different world and it gave me a Europa League win. BBC Sport on Tottenham Hotspur midfielder Lucas Bergvall. Nottingham Forest are set to make an offer of £45 million for the Tottenham midfielder. The Sweden international wants to move to the City Ground, having played limited minutes at the end of last season under Tottenham boss Roberto De Zerbi, often not in his preferred number 6. Nottingham Forest boss Oliver Glasner on Thursday, I have one strength and weakness. It's impatience. Sometimes it's a strength, sometimes it's a weakness. Of course, I would have hoped they already trained with us on the other side. It's impossible because players we are now talking to, they play at the World Cup, so are still on vacation. I'm pretty convinced we will have a few players join us in Portugal on a training camp. Jed Spence, her heart is broken. Heartbroken to say the least. We gave it our all. We left our hearts and souls on the pitch, but it just wasn't meant to be. This is a special group of players and I'm proud to be part of this team. We'll be back stronger than ever. Believe. This is following England's defeat to Argentina in the semi-finals at the World Cup. Fabrizio Romano, Tottenham are ready to let Romero go, to move on and try something different. Credit to Tottenham because they already invested, so they are not going to enter the market when the world people know that they are letting Romero go. They signed Van Hecker, they signed Marco Senesi. Van der Ven is absolutely untouchable. All the stories on Van der Ven, Liverpool, Van der Ven, Barcelona, fake news. Van der Ven is staying and is a crucial player for Roberto De Zerbi. So it's very clear that Cuti Romero is going to leave Tottenham. Tottenham legend Gary Mabber is recovering from an accident in South Africa and Tottenham Hotspur are in contact with him. Sky Sports News understand. The 64-year-old is resting and awaiting medical clearance to fly home. The ex-England international captained Spurs for 11 years during his 16-year spell in North London. The former Bristol Rovers defender remains closely involved with the club as an ambassador. Reports in Turkey are stating that Galatasaray are interested in Matisse Tel. There is also interest from various clubs in Germany. The Spurs under-21s are in action on Saturday away at Ebbsfleet United in their first pre-season friendly of the summer. The Daily Mail have reported that Spurs will sign Savinho, but want 2 more forward options and are alert to opportunities in the market. Tottenham will pay around £65 million for the Manchester City star. City are now looking for replacements before Spurs seal the deal. Xavi Simons is back at Hotspur away. The 23-year-old underwent surgery on the 5th of May for a ruptured ACL injury sustained in the second half of our crucial 1-0 win at Wolves on the 25th of April in the closing stages of the Premier League last season. Missing out on the remainder of the run-in and a potential 2026 World Cup spot with the Netherlands. It was a devastating blow for the team and our number 7 who posted "Now We Rise" on his social channels following his successful surgery. Now, 10 weeks on from his procedure, the midfielder is well into his rehab and returned to our Enfield HQ to continue his programme on the way of getting back out there in a Spurs shirt. Jed Spence got Lionel Messi's shirt after England's World Cup semi-final defeat to Argentina. Spence and England will face France on Saturday in a 3rd/4th place playoff game at the World Cup. Pedro Porro's Spain will face Romero and Senesi's Argentina in the World Cup final on Sunday. The Gary Neville and Christian Romero argument continues. The Daily Express have stated Gary Neville and Christian Romero row escalates as pundit responds to stupid jibe. Gary Neville was fired back at Christian Romero after the defender called the Man United icon stupid after Argentina's defeat of England at the World Cup. Gary Neville was hit back at Christian Romero's comments, reminding the defender that he was part of Tottenham Hotspur side that narrowly avoided relegation last season after conceding 65 goals. Neville's response comes after the Argentine branded the Manchester United legend stupid for recently describing Romero and Martinez as the best worst centre-halves in the world ahead of England's semi-final at the World Cup. Neville had predicted England would score twice against Argentina, telling the overlap, "I don't see how we won't score at least 2 goals. Christian Romero and Martinez seem to give away a goal between them in every match. I call them the best worst centre-back pairing in the world because at times they're absolutely extraordinary and the next instant they go from to the sublime to the ridiculous." Evidently, Romero had caught wind of those remarks and following the Argentines' 2-1 fight back against the Three Lions, he responded, "The only thing I hope for is that when I retire, I am not that stupid. Hopefully I won't criticise a player or anyone because at the end of the day, we are all doing our best for our national team," he told DS Sports. "Sometimes it goes right for us, sometimes badly, but we are just happy to be at the World Cup final again. I think they are making history for us. It is something really huge, and we feel the significance of this shirt like no one else." Neville has since defended his original remarks, insisting that Lionel Messi had bowed out his fellow players at the World Cup. "Yeah, I said they give goals away, and they've conceded 6, by the way, in the knockout games, in 4 matches. If they didn't have Lionel Messi up front, these two, Romero and Martinez, should go and hug him every single minute of every single day because he has had to pull them out of the mire. They conceded 2 against Egypt and 2 against Cape Verde, 1 against Switzerland and 1 against England, and they've conceded 6 goals in the knockout phase. I did go on to say that they are incredible, and those were my exact words. And their force of nature of how they try and win the games. They go from the sublime to the ridiculous. Romero played in a team, Tottenham, last year that nearly went down and got relegated in the Premier League after conceding 65 goals. So I think I know what I'm talking about when I watch a player. He's very talented, as is Lisandro Martinez, but they do make mistakes, lots of them, and they have conceded goals. Neville continued, but they are a force of nature. They have incredible personalities. They go and win every header in the attacking box and sometimes in the defensive box. And I just see such a contradiction in games. He's relatively young, Romero. He's not an experienced defender yet. He won a World Cup and he's got incredible achievements. But without Lionel Messi last night and without Lionel Messi in these last 2 tournaments. Football London have reported Spurs boss Roberto De Zerbi has been back at work with a large group of 25 players at Hotspur Way, but the Italian knows that 4 of his stars will not be back and available until the season is almost underway. That's because of the North London club had 12 players away at the World Cup and 3 of them have reached the final. Christian Romero, Marcos Senesi and Pedro Porro, as Argentina and Spain do battle in New Jersey on Sunday. There is also Jed Spence, who could be involved as England take on France in a bronze medal match on Saturday that nobody wants apart from FIFA. Assuming the 4 Tottenham players all end their international duty from Monday or Tuesday onwards, when they land back in their homelands, 3 weeks off would mean the quartet would not return until the week ahead of Tottenham's 2 Hoffenheim friendlies, having missed the opening 5 matches of pre-season and the club's tour of New Zealand and Australia. De Zerbi will have to decide whether any of these 4 players are then ready to start or even play in the opening day of the season, with the right back role causing a potential issue as his 2 players in that position are Porro and Spence, who has also been linked with a Tottenham exit. In terms of Spurs' other World Cup players, Kevin Danso, Luka Vuskovic, Pat Matassar, Lucas Bergvall, Mickey van der Ven and Rodrigo Bendisar, as well as summer signings Andy Robertson and Jan-Paul van Hecke, were all involved across the Atlantic. Robertson and Bentancur both exited in the group stages, so unless either decides to cut short their rest, the duo will not return to pre-season training until just in time to head off down the tour down under. Using the 3-week time frame, the experienced duo could be back in the building before the game against MK Dons next week, but might not be risks as soon as that after returning. Then those Spurs players whose countries lost in the World Cup round of 32, such as Bergvall, Danso, Saar, Van der Ven and Van Hecker, could also be back just in time for the tour in the North London club. Choose not to sell any of them before that. De Zerbi will have to find the best way of using the players he has working with while integrating returning World Cup stars in the right way. One of the few benefits of the season without European football is that the matches will often be spaced a week apart, which allows for moments of rest throughout the campaign for those who have had a busy summer. So, some thoughts on these, a lot to get through there, wasn't there, really? So, interesting as well, obviously, Fiorentina getting Radu Dragushin. We knew that was likely to happen. He's dropped down the pecking order for quite a while. Lucas Bergvall moving to Nottingham Forest. This one just doesn't seem to be going away at the moment. It's a bit like the Vuskovic one. The player wants to play. He's only young, needs time to integrate, but obviously he's had a lot of football and so believes that he's ready to go now. So you kind of understand where he's coming from that point of view. And of course the one that kind of dominates really is this argument between Romero and Neville. I get it, Neville's right in what he's saying, these two do give away stupid goals, they do stupid stuff, but at the same time they have been fantastic. They have won the World Cup and they potentially could win it again. But Romero, young guy, why are you biting back at someone like Gary Neville? You're not gonna win because he has so much sway, so much media, that he's able to get out there and say what he likes, and it's all about opinions. But I guess you're prepared to defend yourself. If you believe in yourself, then you're prepared to defend yourself in that way, and that's, I guess, is the right thing to do in his own mind. But for me, I personally wouldn't get dragged into it. I think it's a pointless exercise. Good that Xavi Simons is back training at Hotspur Way. The good news about his ACL, if you can ever have any good news about an ACL, is the fact that it was right at the end of the season. So we have had the summer to get a head start on getting back to some kind of level of fitness. I'm not expecting him to be back, for a very long time yet, but it does give him a head start. He is 23 years old, so maybe that gives him a bit of an edge in terms of getting back quickly. But we'll have to see how that kind of pans out. So but it's good news to have him back, and of course lots of players at the World Cup, so a lot of headaches for De Zerbi about who's playing where and when and all this. But listen, this is pre-season. This is about getting fitness back. This is about having a look at players. This is about sorting out your formations and stuff like that. I think he's got a good idea about how he wants to do it, and how players fit in and what players he wants, what players he doesn't want. So I'm not too concerned about it. At the end of the day, it is a World Cup year, and so you have to kind of take that on. But like it says in the report, we do only have one game a week. And so that will give the opportunity for players to be rested in between times if they do have to come straight back into the league battle straight away. So anyway, thanks for watching and for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. I'm leader of Dorset Spur. Pop over and say hi on my channel if you would like to. If not, don't worry, I'll see you on the next one, and as always, up the Spurs.